So, what if I told you that the entire world of PC gaming just got turned on its head, overnight? And not because of some new $1,000 graphics card, but because of a completely free software update. Well, that's exactly what just happened. And honestly, it's one of the smartest, most strategic moves we've seen in the tech wars in a very, very long time.
For years, you know the drill, right? You want those super high, buttery smooth frame rates. You gotta open your wallet, and you gotta open it wide. But Intel just came along and completely flipped the script. The road to high performance, it's not just paved with expensive hardware anymore. Now it can literally be delivered to you through a simple download. So let's set the stage here and talk about the Goliath in this story. For what feels like forever, high-end PC gaming has been this exclusive club, and the price of admission? A $1,000 wall, basically, with the rules and the prices set by the biggest players in the game.
And if you're a gamer, you know this dilemma all too well. The big new games demand a ton of power, and the absolute best features, the stuff that makes them run like a dream, like Nvidia's amazing DLSS 3-frame generation, that stuff has been locked behind a hardware paywall. You want in on the magic? You had to buy their newest, priciest RTX 4000 series cards. It's this constant pressure to upgrade, upgrade, upgrade.
But then, Intel just unleashed what I can only call a software earthquake. See, this isn't about brute force, about trying to build bigger, more powerful hardware. No, this is a clever, surgical strike using pure code to just rewrite the rules of the entire game.
So what exactly is this magic we're talking about? It's called AI frame generation, and the idea behind it is actually kind of beautiful in its simplicity. An AI looks at two real frames that your PC just drew. It analyzes the motion, it understands what's happening, and then it literally invents a whole new frame to slot in between them. And just like that, you can pretty much double your frame rate without making your graphics card sweat any harder. Let's just walk through this real quick. Your game renders frame A, then it renders frame B. Then, the XeSS 3 AI kicks in and analyzes everything that moved between those 2 points. And then, boom, it just creates a whole new frame C, seemingly out of thin air, and sticks it right in the middle. The takeaway here is huge. A game that was struggling along at 30 frames per second can suddenly feel like a silky smooth 60.
And this is where things get really wild. This is the most disruptive piece of Intel's whole strategy. They could have kept this amazing power for their most expensive high-end products, but they didn't. They decided to give it to almost everybody. It's nothing short of the democratization of performance.
Just look at the difference here. It is night and day. Nvidia needs a very specific piece of hardware, their optical flow accelerator, so they lock the tech to their 40 series cards and newer. Intel's plan is totally different. XeSS 3 runs on all of their ARC graphics cards, and here's the bombshell, it also works on the integrated graphics inside their Core Ultra laptops. How? Well, they figured out how to use the chip's built-in AI hardware, these things called XMX cores and DP4A instructions, to do the job. They basically found a software key to unlock power that was already there.
You know, there's a quote from one of the sources that just nails it. It says, "With a single line of code, Intel has officially erased the term low-end gaming from the hardware dictionary." Think about that. The very idea of a low-end PC that can't play modern games, it's being completely redefined. Not by a new chip, but by a few lines of really smart code.
And you want proof? Here it is. Let's take a beast of a game like Cyberpunk 2077 and run it on just a regular thin and light laptop with one of those Intel Core Ultra chips. Before this update, you're getting a choppy, basically unplayable 22 frames per second. After flipping one switch, a totally smooth, very playable 45 FPS. That's more than double the performance. For free.
And hey, this software earthquake isn't just shaking up desktops and laptops. Oh no, it is sending massive shockwaves through one of the most exciting markets in tech right now, handheld gaming PCs. For these little battery-powered devices, this isn't just an upgrade, it's a revolution. You see, it all comes down to working smarter, not harder. Instead of cranking the processor to its absolute limit, getting hot and draining the battery to render 60 frames a second, the handheld can just chill out and render 30. Then the AI steps in and generates the other 30 frames using just a tiny sip of power. What you get is less heat, quieter fans, and a whole lot of saved energy.
And here is the real prize for anyone who loves gaming on the go. We are talking about a potential jump in battery life of up to 35%. That's a huge deal. It means way longer gaming sessions away from the charger, all because of a clever algorithm. Suddenly, an Intel-powered handheld is a much, much more interesting choice.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. There's got to be a catch, right? Making up fake frames. Doesn't that make things feel laggy? Like a delay between when you click the mouse and when you see the action? And what about weird visual glitches or ghosting?
Well, Intel was way ahead of us on that. They built a two-part solution right into the software. First, for the lag, they baked in their own anti-lag tech to keep everything feeling snappy and responsive. We're talking well under 50 milliseconds. And for the visual quality, their AI model is just really, really good. It's been trained so well that it avoids most of that ugly ghosting and artifacting that has been a problem for some of the competition.
So let's zoom out for a minute, because this is about so much more than just frame rates. What Intel is doing here, they're sending a message. A huge message to the entire industry about the future, about hardware, and frankly, about what companies owe their customers. It's about changing the whole economy of performance.
In a world where everything just keeps getting more expensive, this is an incredibly pro-consumer move. It's this idea of software longevity. The idea that a company should keep making the hardware you already paid for better instead of just trying to sell you a new box every single year. It breathes new life into the stuff you already own.
And really, that brings us to the most important takeaway. The whole game is changing. The fight for the top spot isn't just about who can cram more transistors on a chip anymore. The new front line is software. The real war is now being fought and won with brilliant algorithms that can unlock performance that was hiding in the silicon the entire time.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. We just watched a free software update deliver a performance jump that feels like a whole new generation of hardware, and it did it for millions of people. So what happens next? What happens to the entire tech industry when the code you're running starts to matter even more than the hardware it's running on? Because the rules are definitely changing.